Michelle, anyone that's out there that's a mom, this webinar is for you. Yes. And we are rolling. Is that true? We're live. I always pinch myself. I think I'm alive.
We're live starting now.
So this conversation today is so appropriate because tell me where the sun and moon is, Carrie. The sun is in Cancer and the moon must be in
Sag.
It's in Sag. It's so perfect. Oh, I wrote the most beautiful or did the most interesting video. Do you guys know that every day you can watch my videos on either astrologyanswers.com? There's I guess there's a free access that you can just click on videos, and every day I tell you where the moon is and the sun and what the flavor of the day is. And also on my Facebook page, on my fan page. Is that true, Carrie? On my fan page, the videos are on there?
Yep, and it's the same place they're watching this video, so hopefully they will know where to find that.
So every day I have a video that comes out. It's basically every other day that describes the placements of the sun and the moon and gives you the flavor or the mood of the day. So today was one of my favorite topics that the video was about, which was about the Dalai Lama being his birthday. It's his birthday, and his whole conversation is non-attachment, and that all suffering on this planet comes from attachment. I mean, if you really think about that at the deepest level, if you took time to deeply reflect on that sentence, that all suffering comes from attachment, you'll realize it's the most liberating sentence. But the challenge, of course, said the Cancer sun, how do you let go of your attachments? Whether it's, am I lovable? Am I successful? Do I have the right partner? Do I have the wrong partner? Do I have enough money? How's my health? All of that attachment to wanting the health, the wealth, the partner, all those attachments that we have, which is so human. It's the core of the essence of human nature, makes us busy. And this topic today is, I don't have enough time. And so the question I want to pose for you today is, what happens to time? I had this profound experience this week. I was looking at my business with a businesswoman, and she was coaching me, and I was giving her the whole schematic of, I have these classes that I do, and you know that we're starting a membership in September, mid-September, where you can pay $22 a month, and you'll get these videos, 4 communications a month about the full moon, the new moon, interviews with people that are that sign, and then a live class. So you can become a member of our platform, and then I get to share with you my enthusiasm, and you get to ask specific questions, and it's kind of a tribal experience. You're part of a group. So I was telling her all the different facets. That's one facet, and we've got the school that you probably know about where you can come learn astrology, and again, we launch in August, and the class starts the September 11th that week, and that's a platform where normal people, I don't know if anyone out there is normal, can learn astrology in very simple terms. And we do have scholarships, and we give out a certain amount of scholarships every year. So don't hesitate if you have no money, and then we get millions and trillions of emails. But you would write to apprenticeship at DebraSilvermanAstrology.com. Debra is Debra. So apprenticeship at DebraSilvermanAstrology.com. So if you're interested either in the membership of $22 a month, we'll get some lists going now of people interested, or the school that starts in, the launching date is August, but the school starts in September. And at the school level, you can actually become an astrologer when you grow up. I mean, that's the ultimate dream for me, is to turn these many people, men and women, onto this language that we have, that we're going to speak about today, of astrology. And the sun being in Cancer and the moon being in Sag today is so perfect, because Cancer is all about the human condition. And this is the quality of why the topic of today is about time. The pressure that every mother lives with of, oh my God, I have to get up in the morning, I got to make breakfast, then I got to drive the kids to school, then I got to make sure I'm home on time, then I got to make sure I cleaned, and I got to make sure I've got dinner ready, and I got to make sure that I've taken care of their school stuff, and oh my God, I forgot about myself. And then that busy feeling gets like the pressure of that. And the next thing you know, it's the mom's job, which I say is 365, 24/7, because moms work even harder on July 4th or Christmas or Thanksgiving. We don't have a holiday. Our holidays are like yesterday. Where's the watermelon? Where's my kids? Let's go out to the fireworks. I'll pay for dinner. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. That's the parent role. So when we ask the question, what happened to time? It's because everything in the feminine principle, said the Cancer, is to nurture the other. Cancer rules the breasts, these organs that are built for generally to give out milk, but they're also a sensual pleasure. I mean, you can think about that. The feminine principle is both the giver, but in her act of giving, the breast, the heart, the stomach is also ruled by Cancer, the breast and the stomach. They are the giving and receiving. So, it's we give to ourselves through nutrition. And if we're consciously eating, said the Cancer, we have a healthy chance to actually find our energy, which then creates more time because you're not feeling so overwhelmed by every holiday and every time your kid needs you and your husband needs you and your job needs you. And you're like, what about me? That's the whining voice of the Cancer. No one likes me. No one cares about me. I'm always last to get everything. And it's true that the mother is the understated feminine. That's why the pendulum is swung over, and now women are like, what about me? We're all so feisty, and women have turned into men in the quest of filling up time, but not fulfilling time. So as a wise woman, this is what I heard myself say to her. The circle's going to go all the way around. I'm sitting with this business coach, and she said, tell me your life in 5 years. And I said, I made a promise to myself in my 60s that I would not sacrifice my rhythm in the name of my mission, because in earlier years, my mission overrode everything, and I walked over my body, my instincts, my needs, my desires. Everything was sabotaged or walked over because I was aiming for my mission. As an elder, it became very clear to me, and it's that classical story, put your oxygen on first before you take care of the kid, that if I didn't take care of me, which means for me doing yoga or going bike riding or finding a way to be with my favorite people or making sure that I eat really healthy, but making sure once a week or somewhere in the story I indulge with full commitment because I know I'm entitled. So it became an act of balance. And she said to me, as we were talking about it, I said, I will never have my business take away my rhythm, which as a Cancer, which is not what I am, but in the name of this month's sun sign, to not lose your rhythm for some people, not everybody, for some people having their rhythm super fast and multitasking and being able to do all kinds of lists, checking things off their list at one moment and being able to really think ahead. And that's fun for them. Like people like to clean. That's the earth people. They just get so off on being busy, and it's uncomfortable for them rhythmically to slow down. And then there's the water people who are much more sedate, and they do things in a very slow pace, and everything's about their emotional body and how they feel. And if they're not in the mood, they can't do it and they cry. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there is a wisdom base to the water element, which is knowing how to do things through a calm that isn't being compelled by emotion, but it's being compelled by clarity of wisdom to go slow and gentle. Whereas that earth person, instead of being driven by the list, they love to get things done and they do it efficiently and they get paid well. An air person, they have to have people around them to talk to. They in their natural rhythm, if they aren't sacrificing themselves, they have their girlfriend time to go have lunch. And if they don't have time to talk, while someone else would think that was useless, that's their rhythm that makes them feel nourished, that someone's interested in them and that they can play that game called socializing. So they're needing to be, in the conversation of life. And the fire person, if they don't exercise every day, or they don't use the rhythm that they have to be out there and party and dress up and be sexual, they're going to find themselves with this complaint that this Facebook Live is about is, I have no time. What you're really saying is you have no time for your favorite thing. And I made a decision years ago. I think it really happened at my first Saturn return. I had a very successful career at a young age. I had a radio show when I was like 27 because of my gift for the gab. And I was very successful in that I ended up on a mainstream radio at 5 o'clock in Vancouver. People were driving home. It was CJOR with Fanny Kiefer. And I became very well known because people would call me and I could look at their chart. This is what you learn in level 1. And I could say, oh, you're missing fire. Well, you don't have any get up and go. You better go turn on some music and have a drink because you're flatlining. Or I'd look at somebody and go, uh-oh, you have no earth and you have no money. And they'd call on the radio and they'd say, they call and say, do you see me making money? And I'd say, do you have a job? And they'd say, no. And I'd say, no. Or they'd say, do you see me getting married? And I'd say, are you in a relationship? And they'd say, no. I go, come on, don't call the psychic. You have some responsibility. And the job for me became very successful because I could speak to the honesty in the moment. And my career really increased, but I burnt out. This is the topic of today, because my ambition was put in front of my feminine, my male side was so captured by his ego and the success I was having that I would do, believe it or not, I would do 8 sessions a day. I mean, anyone that works with me knows I could do this. I didn't take a break. I never had a drink. I never smoked pot. I never had a visit with, I was 100% pure workaholic. I became a boy. And in the process, I got burnt out and I broke. When I came back to work, it was after my Saturn return. I made a promise to myself. One, I increased my rates. I was like, that's it. I'm going to make myself less likely to get just anybody. And the conditions of they wanting to come see me, they have to be in love, either with themselves, with life, with another person, with their job. But I didn't want the miserable people, which limited my practice for a while. I was really sensitive to needy people. Since then, it's not a problem. I can help just about anyone. But the reason is I run my own energy. And I've made a commitment that every single day I do my yoga, or I do my biking ride, or I do my swim, or I play tennis. That's fire. I am fire, basically fire. If I don't move energy, I sacrifice. I'm sacrificed. So I'm going to ask you, it's not that you don't have time. It's that you're grumpy. And you're grumpy because you neglect yourself. And you neglect yourself because your male side, your ego, is identified with getting things done, because your self-worth, your feminine side, doesn't really feel like she deserves to do what she loves to do. And then what she'll do as a frustration is she'll eat. This is really where people gain weight and they can't stop gaining weight, because the pleasure factor, or the one gift that you give yourself, is, I can't wait to eat. Now that's called appropriate. It's legal. It's the right thing to go do in the name of taking care of yourself. But what you eat and how often you eat, and where the discipline comes, or the lack of it, is because you're pressured by your male side, demanding of you to never get emotional. For some of you, that would be earth people, or your male side to judge the shit out of you because you're too emotional, so you stay home when you're self-conscious, or your male side is so busy talking about nothing, air, that you've got yourself scattered and you can't figure out what you want to be, and you grow up and you're at this wrong job, but you just keep talking yourself in circles. Or did I leave anybody out? Water. If they're in the negative spin of water, they're staying home all caught in their emotions. If they're air, they're indecisive. If they're earth, they don't ever give themselves a chance to stop cleaning and organizing because they feel unworthy, they don't produce. And if it's low fire, you're depressed and you're not having fun anymore, and you've lost your sexuality and your passion, and you can have a mixture of these. But the point of this conversation is time isn't really the issue. The issue is, bottom note, it's self-worth. And the only reason why I feel worthy, it's not my ego, although it could appear to some people that I've got a healthy, big, fat ego. It's not that. It's that I'm here for you. So if I know that my job is to serve you with quality, like I want to give you the best school that I could give you, so you pay money and you get a real gift of teaching astrology and learning it and getting paid for it, or a membership where you sign up and you feel like, wow, I listened to that one video that was 20 minutes and it got me right on track. I see now why I have cancer this month. I've been so emotional. Or if it's my sessions, you hang up the phone and you go, that was like so powerful and impactful. So I'm at a soul level, I've identified, it reminds me of when I got married to my son's father who has passed away. And he said to me, I want to marry the woman that gives those readings. I was like, wait a minute. So you mean the wise one, not the dippy doodah Debra ego one? So I started to identify with his help to my soulful version of myself. And I ask you to do the same. If you could right now distinguish your workaholic male side, ambition, security bound, nervous, he needs to get things done. He doesn't feel comfortable sitting still. He's uncomfortable just in his own lack of measuring up to his definitions of who he should be, versus your soulful side, who's very content, happy at smelling a flower, gets off on the sun, really loves to indulge in the simplest of pleasures and loves her kids and loves being at home and has no pressure to do anything more than breathe. That's a healthy feminine. And in her relaxed state, she partners with her male side, but she directs him and says, don't compare me to other people. Don't make me feel unworthy. That conversation is so dated. It's so old ego. Don't tell me that I'm not doing a good job. I can give myself a compliment. It was just, who was it? I was just at the, that's so funny, you're going to laugh. I was at the dentist today. My favorite thing in the world is to get nitrous oxide, which I did today. And the dental hygienist was looking at my teeth and she said, I love this. This is so ego. Did you brush your teeth before you got here this morning? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And then she was like, didn't do a very good job. And I was like, I get up really early in the morning, and I was doing yoga or something. I made up some story. I was like, I was busy this morning. And then I realized, really her ego, her male ego, her dental hygienist ego was attacking my lack of dental hygiene in a way that was so non-productive. It had me defending myself and making up stories. And so and then in my head, I heard myself say, my teeth are great. So that positive reaffirmation, the ability as the woman to rewrite the storyline, like if you could take your worst trait about yourself. So let's say you think you procrastinate too much. That's a classical air trait. I think of all these ideas to do, but I never get down to writing or reading. I never find the time to, this is the whole Facebook Live today. I don't have time, says the air person, to go see my friends or take some time to write in my journal. I'm just too busy. Well, if you reframe that to, I love writing and I love seeing my friends, and that's on the top of my list because I'm worthy enough, I deserve to make sure that my day's filled with something fun so that I can be generative and energetic. That's all I do. I mean, I used to worry, especially when I had kids, that I was selfish because if I didn't do yoga every day, like at one point I had a man in a wheelchair, 2 kids that were my stepchildren, and a baby a nursing baby. So I had pushing a man in a wheelchair, taking care of two kids, and then a little baby. And it would get to a certain part of the day where I didn't have any time. I was like, oh my God. And not only did I not have time, but my bitch, or I called her my mean mom. I would say, uh-oh, mean mom's coming. Like I could feel where like I was going to lose my temper. And because the kids were too loud and the baby would, and then I would say to the older one, I'll be right back. And I would go swim. Just in that 1 hour window, I would do a really fast swim. I'd go into the sauna. I'd do my prayers. I'd do my meditation. I would come back all refreshed and I was back in the game. That's when I learned that my self-care, putting the oxygen mask on first, would assist me to be able to handle the situation. But if I stayed there and got crispy critter and turned into mean mom, and then the kids were upset because the mom sets the temperature in the house. Every woman listening to this, you have the means to determine the nature of your household. You know this. Your kids are going to go off to school feeling great if you're the one giving them the little 1-2. Your kids are going to feel horrible if their mom is like got up and she's miserable and she's giving them, they're so late and everybody's frustrated. So we set the barometer, we set the temperature, we set that measuring stick in the house of saying happy, the little beeper, and it's a determining factor. But how do we get set up is me every single day. I take responsibility for my energy. So today in the dentist chair, so funny, I go off to this other world. They basically said to me, or I heard, small moments. Just take a small moment and take a deep breath. Let's do it right now. And let everything else go to the wayside just for a moment. You're listening to Facebook Live. Is Debra Silverman entertaining you, giving you her Gemini diatribe. And she's inviting you to take a breath. This is called time. Time is just a word. If you spell it backwards, it spells emit. It's like pulling things out. Time just takes everything out. And if you could just take time to stand still, take it out with the breath and stop it. Consciously stop time. And then ask yourself, if I did have time, what would I do? Well, for me, I'd be outside playing. Like if I had time today, we weren't doing Facebook Live and I wasn't starting a launch in August, getting excited about this membership, and I didn't have 1,000 things on my plate, I'd probably be, by this point, I'd be on the bike. I wouldn't be sitting here. So I could use a favorite line that all these women use, I don't have time. And in the old school, when men were men and women were women and our moms and dads played that classical role where they were so separate, and men didn't have time because they were so busy and women were around at the house, I guess, getting their nails done, making dinner, and then going shopping, and then getting some clothes, and then getting their hair done. That's what my mom used to do. She had lots of time, but she didn't have that measuring stick of her internal true north. She didn't have her chart. She didn't know what was her nature. She didn't know how to do what she wanted to do because she had a million excuses because her kids were coming home and her husband was da-da-da. The ultimate question that my mom missed that I'm giving to you is, you have to determine You're worthy to do this. What feeds your soul? For some people, I'm going to do it again. For water people, it's being at home, being quiet, cooking, playing house, wearing your slippers, and not having to answer the phone. They love that. For air people, it's quite the opposite. Who can I play with? Who can I talk to? What can I read? Where's the internet? I love Facebook, and who can I play with? Ding, ding, ding. For earth people, it's getting shit done. Like they want their list. They want to check it off. They feel so good. And then it's food for them to some extent. And for fire people, it's just the joy factor. It's the blunt factor. It's the honesty. It's the chi. It's the working out and playing and doing something that's dramatic that doesn't serve the negative version, but the joyful version. So I'm going to ask you, if you had all the time in the world, I love when people tell me this. I say, if you had all the money in the world and all the time, what would you first answer? Oh, I would travel. I'm like, really? From someone who next year is going to have 1 million miles in my United account, I'm going to challenge you on that. So you travel and you go to this exotic country and you pack up all your stuff and you go through the airport, you take off your shoes. And then you stand in line. And then you get on a plane where you can't really breathe because the air has been recycled and you're sitting next to someone who doesn't smell great. And then you get off the plane, they didn't have your luggage and you're waiting for your luggage. And then you're in a country, it's a foreign country, you're trying to figure out where to go. Well, that's right. We forgot to take the map, but we're now going to have a whole schedule, an itinerary. We need time on our schedule. And we're going to take our first stop is going to stay at this hotel and we check in. I mean, the glorification of traveling. The beauty of it is why people love it. I figured this out many years ago when I had that radio show in Vancouver, because I'd ask everybody, what would you do? I used to do little research projects and they always said travel. And I'd say, what is it about travel? What it was, I discovered was it was a change of scenery. It was being able to change up the familiar, the habitual, the patterns, and do something radically different that would refresh your energy, reset the computer, and that's why personally I have to keep moving. I only go between Boulder and Hawaii and stop every once in a while in a different town, as I will in Newfoundland come July 18th and 19th and 20th. I'll also be in Nova Scotia, the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and then I'm going to be in Hawaii next week. If anyone's in Kauai, please find me. You just write to Silverman Support at Gmail and say, where is she? They'll tell you. But the point of that story is you changing it up for me doesn't mean, this romantic idea of traveling to foreign countries. We just love to change the scenery because we get caught in habit. And the way to change habit is to do if you're a person that loves change, then introduce driving a different way to the streets and when you go to work, or making sure that you get a whole different color scheme when you go shopping, or you change your haircut entirely, or there's a way to play, I can travel in my own hometown. But the point of that story is none of this is going to happen if you're not worthy. And the only way to become worthy is to put your ego over here and tell it will be of service to who? To your soul. And once you identify as a soul, and this is how it would look, regardless of what sign you are. I want to help. I want to serve people. I want to know what it is to unconditionally love. I want to practice the art of forgiveness, like being able to accept the unacceptable and keep my heart open. I want to know how to enjoy the moment, the passage of time, like to actually, if I'm standing in a waiting room, or I'm about to make love, or I'm about to go on an airplane, all of those should have a quality of, and if you can muster up your soulful delight in being in a body, like the freshness of it, like you just finished brushing your teeth, or the cold shower, woo, or you just jumped into the ocean, woo, that refreshing feeling is your job, because you're worthy as a soul to make your energy absolutely viable, healthy, vibrant, and shiny. If you don't do that, and then you say to me, I don't have any time, and I feel a little over my head at work, and my kids are driving me nuts, I'm like, mean mom's coming. I'm going for a swim. I'll be right back in about 1 hour. You're in charge, James. I'll see you later. That's what I would do. If you don't know how to take your time outs and replenish, whether it's a meditation or a massage, some people just love getting touched. If you're not being made love to, you go find somebody. Brought to you by Debra Silverman and Facebook Live on Wednesday at 1:24 Colorado time, which would be 12:24 in Seattle, San Francisco, and LA. And I am not a timekeeper, but I am an astrologer. My job is to tell you now is the moment to stop, take a breath, let's do it. Small moments, just one small moment. What would it take for me today to refresh my energy? You know, just knowing that tomorrow I'm going to Hawaii is so exciting that everything becomes sparkly right here in the now. Not to mention I have this unbelievable collection of flowers. Yeah, those are simple things that when you're responsible to put beauty in your world, because you don't want to be grumpy and miserable because people are counting on you. You are not alone. And even if you're a water person, you hate people around, we can hear you. Your thoughts are influencing everyone. Your toxic energy influences, or your clean energy is a light and it draws people to it. And that's what I'm hoping to do with you guys. So we've just done half an hour. Carrie, are there any questions?
No real questions, but lots and lots of hearts. A lot of people saying they love you and thank you because they needed this today. So very well received.
And what was the topic again?
Taking time for yourself, and I don't have the time.
Now stop that stupid line. That's just such a line people use. I don't have time for myself. Well, who gave it away? Hello? What is wrong with us? Why do women feel it's okay to sacrifice our rhythm, our bodies, the feeling of healthiness, the smells that we wear, what we do with our, like, indulge. That's my message. Sign brought to you by Astrology Answers. No, that's not right. Brought to you by the moment and the dentist chair and nitrous oxide reminding me that nothing matters more than small moments. And we just had one. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for all the love. And it's just me being me. I don't know. They plugged me into an extra socket. I think I have an extra battery socket or something. I can't see it, but something's going on. Okay, you do have time. And you guys answer this question. You can write to me on this Facebook Live underneath. What would it take for you to make some time, and what would you do if you had it? And if you say travel, that's not the right answer. Well, you can use travel. Then just make sure you're not distracting yourself by some romantic idea that's preventing you from being in the here and now. If it's travel, then gear up for it and make that your dream. It's just you don't want to ever get so future-paced and so much about what it's going to be when you grow up. You really want to practice here and now, here and now, here and now. Try that, you guys. Ready? Here and now, small moments. Take a deep breath. And look what time it is. Dun, da, da, dun, dun, da, da. Anything you want to say, Carrie, before we go?
I put a link in the comments for the upcoming class. So if you're interested in learning with Debra, make sure you check that out. And a lot of people are saying thank you, and again, giving a lot of hearts.
Here, look at my heart. What do you think? Okay, love, love, love. Don't forget, if you need something to inspire you, you can go get my book called The Missing Element, and it will give you this in spades and get you motivated to figure out how to take care of yourself. That's what that book was all about. Aloha.